going to show you in the Bible your true nationality, where you came from and where you ended up. All right? Okay, good. You got it? Luke 21:1. Okay,
21:20.
You got it?
Yes. 21:24.
Yes, Luke 21:24.
This is the book.
This one, 21. Luke 21:21.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 21.
So now listen to this, sis, because you're from where? You're from Kenya, right? Okay, good. Listen to this.
Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
So Judea, right? Judea is in Jerusalem. It's in Israel. What they call modern day Israel. Judea is Jerusalem. It says, they which are in Judea, which are the real Jews, the Jews. What does it say?
Flee to the mountains.
The mountains mean the surrounding countries. When the Bible speaks of the mountains, it's talking about surrounding countries. What happened with the Israelites here? They was conquered by the Romans, right? At a certain point in time, the Romans wanted to kill the Israelites and they fled into Africa. The reason why we fled into Africa is because the Israelites, which are the so-called, these people that you see on this side right here, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, we look a lot like the Africans, especially us blacks. We look a lot like the Africans. There's a difference. There's a difference between us and what you call Hamites. Who has the Bible dictionary? Give me the Bible dictionary in the meantime. Give me Exodus 11 and verse 7. Let me show you something. Let me show you Exodus 11 and verse 7. Because there's a difference, eh? God divided people. You have the Shemites and you have the Hamites. All right? Exodus 11 verse 7.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 11 and verse 7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue.
So now the Bible says the Israelites, not even the dogs of the other nations will be able to speak against them. Read.
Against man or beast, that ye may know how the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel.
So now there's two separate races of what we call black people today. You have the Israelites and you have the Hamites. The Bible says given a clear visual, a clear explanation of the difference of the two. You have some that are Israelites, some that are Hamites. So now when we fled into Africa to blend amongst the Hamites because we look like them, this happened to us later on. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15. Because there's a reason why this happened, right? I'm going to get to the point of this. First and foremost, while you get that, who is this man? Because I was asking you just now, you say you're from Kenya, right? Who's this man? You don't know? So you don't know who this man is? This man here, okay. You don't know who he is? Fair enough. Who is this man here? So you said this man is Jesus.
He's the one that has shown us.
Okay, good, no problem. So you don't know who this is, but you say this is Jesus. Okay, good. Hold that thought. So when we went into Africa, right? This is what happened. Read.
That's the book of Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15.
Because he was given commandments of God to keep, and us as a race, we did not listen. So this is what happened. Read.
But it shall come to pass,
meaning it's going to happen,
if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
if the so-called Kenyans, the so-called Ghanaians, the so-called Nigerians, the so-called Angolans, the so-called Cape Verdeans, all these people that are in West and Central Africa, South Africa, and different parts that are spread abroad, if they don't listen to the commandments, this is going to happen.
to observe, to do all his commandments,
So if they don't listen to God, read,
and his statutes, which I commanded this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
the Bible says a set of curses is going to come upon the so-called Kenyans. We were from Kenya. Let me ask you the question. Are people in Kenya living good right now? Are they living like how Europeans and Americans are living? Meaning they can get food 24/7? Not all of them. I'll give you one reason why not. The Kenyan currency is not even known worldwide. Think about it. Europe, European euros, pounds, which is British money, and dollars are all from European countries. That alone is proof that every other country outside of that is going to have hard time, especially after I've never heard of Kenyan money. That's proof enough to let you know listen, Kenya is not in a good spot right now. So the Bible says the so-called Kenyans are going to be cursed. This is what the Bible says. Not just them. The so-called Ghanaians were cursed. The so-called Nigerians were cursed. so-called Angolans were cursed. And we're going to go through some of these curses to show you. Give me 68. Because how do you think we came? I'm from the Caribbean. You're from Africa, right? Okay, good. I'm going to ask you the question now. Because we are kinsfolk. How did I get to the Caribbean and the western side of the world? How did that happen? Because, yeah, we got it, whatever. How did it happen? Did we fly with KLM? So, did we walk on water? You don't know. Let me show you in the Bible how we got to the western side of the world. We're gonna, and everything is in the Bible. You got it?
There's
Read.
the book of Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So now you're hearing the word Egypt, right? You might think that's another part of Africa. No, the Bible is going to explain to you what Egypt means. The Bible says the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and the so-called Kenyans.
Can somebody write me those verses?
No problem, no problem. Hey, a lot of it, you're gonna read it on. A lot of it, you're gonna read it on that thing itself.
Okay.
So, yeah, read it. I'm just giving you the explanation because when you go home, you might not understand what you're reading. Read.
There's the book of Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2.
So now let's find out what Egypt means. Read.
I am the Lord thy God,
So he's the God of the Israelites. Nobody else. Read.
which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt,
That took us out of the land of Egypt. Read.
out of the house of bondage.
Egypt, according to the Bible, means slavery. Bondage is talking about the slavery. So go back to verse 68.
Verse 68.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So from Africa to the Americas, to Europe, to South America, God says he's going to bring us into slavery with what?
Again with ships.
With ships. He says, so let me make it as clear as day for you. The Africans that flee from Jerusalem, which is your forefathers and mine, that ran into Africa, they hid amongst the other tribes for a while. When the time of judgment came, God put us in slavery because we were not keeping God's commandments. They then took them from Africa and brought them to the western side of the world with ships. That's documented in the Bible. They were put into slavery with ships. That was the transport method. We didn't take KLM, we did not take Delta Airlines, we did not take Corendon or Avianca. We took slave ships. They took us on slave ships. Finish it up.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee,
So the same way he said, the same way Moses said this would happen, read,
thou shalt see it no more again.
meaning the old Egypt that we faced before with Pharaoh, we won't have that kind of slavery again. The slavery that we are in now is in Europe, is in America, is in Central America, is in South America. You understand? Because from the North America all the way down, there were different European countries that conquered people. You understand? For example, the Latino community was conquered by Spain, which is Europe. The South American, that land, that was conquered by Spain and Portugal. You see that? So that's how our forefathers were put into slavery. You understand? Let me show you why. Let me give you a reason why. Give me Micah. Let's see what commandment we broke. Because recently, there was a murder that happened in this city, Almeida. They found a body. All right? Let's see what the Bible says about this. Give me Isaiah 3 verse 5. Let's see what the Bible says about this. Because, like I said before, and as the Bible stated, which I reiterated, we do not listen to the laws of God. That's the reason why black people are at the lowest of the low. We got to be realistic. Anywhere we go in the world, black people are at the lowest of the low. When I say blacks, I mean the so-called Latinos as well. We live in what they call ghettos and projects. What we call in Holland, not privé sector, sociale woning. You understand? The majority of us have to get sociale woning because of these curses on us. So let's touch on to the murder. Read.
This is the book of Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 5.
Uh-huh.
And the people shall be oppressed, everyone by another.
So the Bible says the so-called Israelites are going to oppress their own, meaning black on black crime. How would I oppress you from your neighbor? I would steal from you. I would take any little thing I see that you put out, I would steal from you. If you're not home, I'm going to break in your house, I'm going to steal the stuff. I'm going to hold you at gunpoint. That's what the Bible says. Read on.
and everyone by his neighbor.
So by your neighbor, when it says your neighbor, like I just literally said, your neighbor is your brother. That's the context, that's what the Bible means. When the Bible says your neighbor, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Translation, love your brother as you love yourself. So you're going to be oppressed by your own brother. Read.
The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient.
So it says a child. You ever wonder why the children of nowadays are so disrespectful? You have children, right? I see you have one. Do you have more? Okay. Have you ever wondered why the children of this generation are so disrespectful? It's a curse. That's a curse, the Bible, that the Most High God put upon us. You got more on that?
And the base against the honorable.
So it says the children are going to be disrespectful towards the older men. That's why our older man nowadays, he has fear to correct a young man. The reason why is because he might get killed. He doesn't have that control anymore. You got to understand, even in the country where you come from, a lot of us, there's a hierarchy with respect. The father, the mother, the child. The child does not supersede the mother does not supersede the father. There's an order. But the Bible says this is different. These children are now disrespectful. So the base people, meaning the nobodies, the low class, are disrespected to the high class, and the children are disrespectful to their parents. From there, give me Micah 3 and verse, no. Give me Micah 2 and verse 8. Let's get some more on that. Because a lot of us think, hey, listen, this is something normal. No. Nowadays, we live in very dangerous times. They are different than they were before. You got it?
This is the book of Micah, chapter 3 and verse 8.
2 verse 8.
2 and verse 8.
Uh-huh.
Even of late, my people is raising up.
So the Bible, this is what God is seeing. God told the prophet Micah to write what he's seeing from the heavens down below. Read. With power, let's go.
Even of late, my people is raising up.
Even of late, meaning lately, looking around these days in the city of Almere, Den Haag, Rotterdam, where murders and drug dealers going on. It says, even of late, this is what I'm seeing. Read.
As an enemy, you pull off the rope with the garment.
When it says he pulls off the robe with the garment, he's talking about robbing each other's clothes. Let's be realistic. Black people kill each other over clothes too. We rob shoes, we rob shirts. This is what the Bible is saying we've done. God says he sees black on black crime, and he sees what we are doing. Read. Read up.
Garment from them that pass by secretly.
So now, secretly, meaning he's hiding, the criminal is hiding, and he's waiting for someone who does not expect this to happen to commit a crime, to steal him, to rob from him. This is all in the Bible. This is all documented in the Bible. This all goes back to the curses. This is a curse.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you. It's nation time.
And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, His word.